Hey guys, Murali here. Do you have a GPA that you're worried might prevent you from getting into medical school? Don't worry, in this video I'm going to go over how to best apply to medical school with a low GPA. I'll have timestamps in a description and in the pinned comment down below, and if you have any questions I'll try to answer any in the comment section. Okay? Let's get started. So while GPA is not necessarily the only thing that medical schools look at, it is really important because how well you do in school or how good your stats are show roughly how well you can manage the rigor of medical school. And it is very hard. Medical schools don't want to accept students who they're worried will fail out, right? They want students who are smart and capable and committed to the medical career. And that's what you have to show in your application. So in this video, I'm going to go over some things to think about so that you can show that you're smart, capable, and committed. Okay, so tip 1 is to continue to try and improve your GPA as much as you can. And this is really hard, especially as time goes on, because say you've had 3 tough semesters. In your 4th semester, you have to do 4 times as good in that semester as you want your improvement overall to be. Like if you want your GPA to increase by 0.1, you have to increase your GPA for that 4th semester by 0.4 from your normal average. And that can be difficult, but it's the trend that medical schools want to see and not just that value. If they see improvement, that means that you are working hard and you are figuring out ways to improve your situation and learn better and study better. And that shows to the medical schools that you have resilience and determination and aren't going to just stop when you hit that first hurdle. You're going to keep working through and keep going. If you aren't able to see much improvement in your transcript over the course of a few semesters, I think you should maybe consider looking at your habits and what you're doing to study. There's a lot of videos on YouTube about different study techniques like active recall and different schedules you can use, and other videos that'll help you with your time management skills if that's the issue. You have to put in the effort to review what you're doing so that you can improve your own situation and show to medical schools that you will continue to work hard even when you hit that first hurdle. And this isn't easy. This requires a lot of reflection and self-critique and things like that that require you to look inside and look at what you're doing and review your own behaviors. That's not easy, but it is something that you have to continue to do in order to show medical schools that you are committed. So tip 2 is to consider post-bac programs. So if you've already graduated and still want to increase your GPA or improve your transcript, it can be beneficial to take a number of different classes from post-bac programs that show that you can still work hard and succeed in difficult classes and difficult coursework. Post-bac programs can not only improve your transcript, but they can also give you the opportunity to learn more about your own interests and also more about the field that you're trying to get into. The freedom within post-bac programs can give you a lot of opportunities to look into other things that might be beneficial for you, like research or volunteering. In addition, some post-bac programs might be affiliated with certain medical schools, and if you get involved at medical school and meet faculty or staff there, that can help you improve your own network for when you apply and maybe give you a leg up. Alright. Tip 3 is to seriously consider a gap year. Within this tip, I want to say that you shouldn't be afraid to take a gap year. And I myself was finding difficulty with this sort of. When I was applying, I was not sure whether or not I would get in this round. So I was taking active steps to plan not just 1 gap year, but 2 gap years where I could get a lot of clinical involvement and increase just my exposure to the medical field before I applied next time, to make sure that I had the experiences necessary to show the application reviewers that I was committed to the field and I really wanted to do this. So many people take gap years these days, and you shouldn't think that, oh, because I didn't get into medical school right after graduating from college that I'm a failure. That's a very toxic mentality to have, and it won't help you in your career, especially when you do hit hurdles and face difficulties. You can't think, oh, I'm a failure because I didn't get it the first time. You have to keep trying and show commitment and resilience. Like, the class profile of my incoming matriculating class has come out, and I'm seeing so many students who are around 23, 24, even 25 and older. And so what I'm seeing is, like, if the average age of the incoming medical student is 24, that means the average student is taking at least 1 gap year. So it's something that you should definitely consider seriously if you have a lower GPA, because the wisdom and knowledge that you gain during those gap years will only help you out. Okay, tip 4 is to show your commitment to the medical field through your extracurriculars and other activities. So this is, I think, one of the most important things to really focus on if you have a lower GPA, because while the GPA and your stats give you a lot of objective, or they give the medical schools objective things to look at, overall the application is not fully objective, right? You're writing essays, which are very subjective, and it's where you put your own experiences and lessons that you've gained. And how do you gain those experiences and lessons? By doing things outside of school. And that's why this is, I think, one of the most important things you have to really think about. What are you going to spend your time doing in college or before you apply? So some things to consider when you're looking at extracurricular activities is to make sure that you get a lot of patient involvement, patient care in something that you do. So when you write essays like why medicine, a big part of the medical field is getting involved with patients and interacting with people. And if your extracurricular activities or the stuff that you've spent most of your time doing don't reflect that you enjoy doing that, or at least that you are good at doing that, it'll be difficult for you to really convince the medical school application committee that you really want to do this and this is the career that you want to do. So specific activities that I think would be useful for this is volunteering in a hospice center. I personally did volunteer at a hospice center, and I found that I was actually doing more patient care in a hospice center than I was working in an ER department at a big hospital. Because at the big hospital they have so many requirements, and there's a lot of people going on. There's a lot of people there that they don't really let you get involved with the patients more than just fixing their beds or wheeling them places, right? But at the hospice center, I was doing things like bathing and feeding and just spending a lot of time with the patients and getting to know them personally. And I found that experience more rewarding than just working in an ER department in a hospital. So those are the kind of things I would think about when you are looking for volunteering opportunities. Another way to get involved in the clinical side of things is maybe through research. I personally only did bench side research in college, but I would recommend doing clinical research and seeing how research actually involves human patients and what sort of practices you have to do in that process. That's an experience that I want to get more involved with in medical school, but would also be very beneficial before you apply. Additionally, I want to emphasize that you should be doing activities that you enjoy and not just checking things off of a list, right? You shouldn't just do research or activities just because, oh, this is the thing you have to do. Because if you're just doing it for that reason, your results won't be as good, you won't enjoy it as much, and people can tell when you enjoy things, right? People aren't stupid. They're gonna know, oh, you're not really committing fully to this and you're not really putting in your best effort. Whereas if you explore a bit and find things that you're really interested in, the work you do will be a lot better and more fulfilling, and you'll just be able to write and learn a lot more from those experiences. So when you apply to medical schools, it can be very valuable to write about things that you're actually passionate about, because just the way you write will change, and the lessons you gain will be able to show the committee that you know what you're talking about and you actually care about what you're talking about. Like when I switched over from working in the ER department to working in a hospice center, I found that experience a lot more worthwhile, and it was something that I could talk about in my interview as something that I really cared about. And I think my interviewer really understood that I enjoyed the work that I was doing and trusted in me because of that. So spend some time exploring and finding activities that you actually enjoy doing, and don't just check things off of a list. So tip 5 is to consider applying to DO schools. And this isn't something that I would really recommend unless you've applied maybe 2 or even 3 times to an actual US medical school, unless you want to do osteopathic medicine. So for those of you who don't know, DO schools is where they teach osteopathic medicine, and US medical schools or MD schools are where they teach allopathic medicine. And you can do a lot of research into the specifics of both. Maybe you want to do osteopathic medicine more than allopathic medicine. I personally felt that I wanted to do allopathic medicine, but overall there's some differences in the curriculums that they teach, but at the end of the day you can practice as a US physician with both degrees, and you can get into US residency programs. But the reason that I bring up this tip is, while I don't know that much about the actual DO application process, from my understanding, DO schools are more lenient with lower GPAs. The trend that I've heard is for US medical schools, you should probably try to aim for a 3.7 STEM GPA, but for a DO school, the range is more like a 3.5, which is a bit more forgiving. So if you've applied a few times to US medical schools and it's not working out, I would suggest maybe consider looking at a DO school. Alright, so those are my 5 tips, but I want to emphasize that this is a very stressful process, and I want you to know that everybody has their own path that they go through. Some people take gap years, some people take multiple gap years, some people don't take any gap years. But I think the important thing here is to not compare yourself to what other people are doing or how other people are doing. And it can be really frustrating and really hard to do that, especially once you've sent your secondary application and you're just waiting for interviews and you see your friends getting a lot of interviews but you don't personally get any. That's a really tough situation to be in, and I've been there personally. There was a long period of time where I was just waiting for an interview invite, and I only got the one interview, so I made sure that I wanted to do as best as I could on that interview. So my advice to you is to just keep working hard, do as best you can, don't worry about what other people are doing, and just continue to try to improve yourself internally. And explore different opportunities, see what you enjoy doing, and really get involved in those things, because those are the things that'll really help you with your application and convince the application committee that you really want to do medicine. Okay, what's up guys? So this is me when I'm editing this video. I realized I didn't put in my story about my low GPA into this video, but I thought I'd go over that now. So when I applied 3 years into my college career, 3 years into my bioengineering major after my junior year, and at that point I had a 3.5 GPA. And that is on the lower side, and the reason why it was on the lower side was because my freshman year I didn't do that well. I just had a very rough transition to college, and I knew that my GPA would be a low point for me, so I made sure to try to improve it a lot over the next few years, like sophomore year and junior year. I worked hard to improve my GPA. Even though the coursework was probably harder, I did a lot better during my sophomore and junior year than I did during my freshman year, just because I reviewed what I was doing in terms of my own study tactics, how I was managing my time, and just my priorities. So once I changed those and really understood what I was doing and how to improve, that helped my GPA a lot. And then I also used the other tips I went over in this video, going over my extracurricular activities. I made sure to do things that showed I knew what I was talking about in an interview when I was discussing the medical field and why I wanted to enter the medical field. And I explored a lot of different research opportunities and really tried to show the application committee that I knew that I really wanted to do this and I was committed to it. And also I could handle the rigor of medical school by improving my GPA over the past few years. But yeah, so I kept improving that, and I'm very happy to say that I was able to get in on my first try. If I didn't get in, I would have taken 2 gap years like I mentioned earlier in this video, and I don't think there would have been any shame in that. I would have just tried again and it would have hopefully worked out the next time. But yeah, so I hope this serves as motivation for you. These tips I think do work. You have to really work hard at it. If you have a low GPA, it's a lot harder, but you can do it. It is possible if you know that you're committed and if you show that you're committed. All right, and good luck, and I hope the best for you guys. So I hope that these tips helped you out, and if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. And if you want to see more videos like this about the application process, I have a playlist on my channel, which I'll link somewhere around here. But if you want to see more videos about this or about my med school journey that should be starting pretty soon, feel free to subscribe and check out my later videos. All right, peace and have a good day.